Mo, I'm seeing a little guitar peek out.
I figured that's what you were going to ask.
Yes!
Hopefully it's in tune. I haven't picked it up in a while.
Yes!
That was incredible.
You're actually good.
I love that senator for you.
I'm Mo Davis, and I'm in North Carolina's 11th Congressional District.
I'm Wesley Taylor.
I'm Isaac Powell.
Hey, Mo, what's up?
We're actually living in North Carolina.
Have you been to Asheville?
Of course we've been to Asheville.
I describe it as the Berkeley of the Blue Ridge.
That's a really good bumper sticker. You should trademark that. So you were set to retire in Asheville.
I retired a year ago, and my plan was to sit on the porch and drink IPA.
It's a good plan. You had no intention of running. What propelled you to jump into this race?
I just think the path that we're on is not sustainable. And every time there's an election, somebody says, this is the most important election ever. This time it really is. Do we want to continue being a democracy, or are we willing to accept fascism and an authoritarian government that's unaccountable? And so I decided sitting back and watching that going down the drain just wasn't an option.
Mo, I'm going to throw you a really hard curveball right now, and I'm really sorry to do this.
All right.
I have to ask you, Biscuitville or Bojangles?
Ooh. I'm partial to Biscuit Head.
We ate there, didn't we?
Yes.
If I die and go to heaven, we'll have biscuits and gravy from Biscuit Head.
Oh, I love to hear that. And it's a local business. So Mo, we've been really enjoying your presence on TikTok.
Hey-o.
And your Ocean Spray Challenge video.
Yeah.
Amazing. Most of our followers are young people, and we're seeing right now that young people 18 to 29 are showing up in droves to vote right now. And so what would you say to Gen Z, if you could say anything right now?
I'm really pleased to see that young folks are turning out. I'm 62. You've got more of an interest in what happens with the country and the world than me. And right now we're kind of crapping on you. $27.1 trillion of debt, a divided country that's just at each other's throat, rolling back environmental regulations. We're not doing right by you. I'm big on green technology. I think that's our path forward out of poverty in Western North Carolina. North Carolina is number 2 in the country in solar energy production. I would love to see Western North Carolina become the epicenter for alternative energy. And I think green collar jobs is the answer.
You believe healthcare is a human right. You are pushing for mandatory background checks on guns.
Mm-hmm.
You want to treat the environment well. You believe that this is a real moment of racial reckoning. I mean, what's not to love? I'm sold here.
I would love to live in Western North Carolina.
We can find you a realtor.
Yeah, exactly. Talking about your progressive policy, something that makes me very happy is your pursuit of legalizing marijuana nationwide.
You know, right now, we're making these out of plastic and throwing them into landfills where they stay forever. You can make these out of hemp, and it's biodegradable. So I think in addition to the social justice component, there's also an economic component that would be good for Western North Carolina. And as you were talking about, that revenue could go towards funding healthcare and education, the things that we're lacking in. We can quit wasting resources, treating it as a criminal justice problem.
Are you binging something right now?
We've been binge watching Schitt's Creek.
Oh my God! I am halfway through the 5th season right now.
Seems like everybody we know right now is binge watching Schitt's Creek. Particularly in these times that we live in, it's nice to have something that you can just kind of kick back and laugh and enjoy it.
I don't want to spend too much time on this. Your opponent, Madison Cawthorn, obviously has garnered a lot of attention. He's a staunch Trump supporter. Do you have faith that people will see past his Instagram followers and pretty face and see him for who he really is?
I'm not going to win a beauty contest, that's for sure. They're presenting him as the fresh new voice of the Republican Party. There's nothing new coming out of his mouth. I'm really encouraged. We've got a lot of Republican support. I think many folks here recognize that sending somebody there that's totally unqualified just isn't what we need. Folks are fired up. I mean, if you're not fired up to vote this election, then I don't know what the hell it's going to take.
I do have one more question. This was something that I was curious about because I know that Asheville made headlines over the summer for reparations.
Here in Asheville, what our city council passed, I don't think for most folks really meets the definition of reparations. It committed no money. What it said that the city would be more mindful in employment and zoning and all the decisions that a city has to make, more mindful of the impact of racial discrimination and disparity in making those decisions. So, I mean, I give them credit for doing something positive, but the devil's in the detail. What do you mean? I taught at Howard University at the law school for 4 years. So I'm trying to reach back to some of my colleagues that have spent years looking at the issue to get smarter, because I think we need to have a national conversation.
Hey Mo, do you have a voting plan?
I went last week and voted.
I did get to cast my ballot already. That felt really good.
Isaac got to vote in North Carolina.
I'm a religious user of ballot tracks. I'm always checking on my ballot to make sure it got there.
Yeah, it's a great tool. Even in some of the small rural towns, the outlying areas, folks are saying that like opening day, there were 100, 150 people queued up before they open, and that never happened. So it's really good to see folks that are, participating in democracy. It's really encouraging.
Well, I think I can speak for Isaac when I say we've really enjoyed learning, Mo, about you.
Well done. Well played.